Vidas largas para el Ladino.
Which means?
Long life to Ladino. How do you talk to your mother and father? In that language, the language that you know. If you don't have a country where the language is spoken every day, the language cannot grow. All we spoke was the Ladino. That's what we brought. We brought the language with us. It was the only thing that you can bring with you.
I grew up as a very musical child. It was a very natural connection for me to combine the musical background that I already had with my fascination and love of my culture.
In development of identity, language is always a very important element. You see that, throughout history, around the world, in all societies. How do you pass information down in a non-written form? The easiest way is song. People remember songs. Why do prayers have melodies? One is to enhance, the other one is to help people remember. So actually, the role of music is incredibly important in the preservation of cultural values and cultural concepts in that very basic human way. Music is a medium for the preservation of concepts and ideas.
I definitely heard Ladino spoken around me growing up. I was struck as I got older that very few people even knew what Ladino was.
And that's the specialty of Mark Angel, who is the rabbi of Manhattan's Spanish-Portuguese synagogue and has studied the roots of Ladino.
Ladino is a language that was spoken by the Jews when they were living in medieval Spain. And after they were expelled in 1492 from Spain, most of them went to Turkey, the Balkan countries, some to North Africa, the Middle East.
The communities died, some of the synagogues were destroyed.
It really became a language rooted in Spain, which evolved in its own distinctive style over the last 450, 500 years.
And that was the Judeo-Spanish, the Ladino. Yeah. It was completely destroyed, and we weren't doing anything about it because we thought, like everything else, it will die.
I was feeling really inspired by this incredible renaissance happening in the Ashkenazi music world, especially around klezmer. In the last 10 years or so, there's really been an explosion. At the same time that I was inspired, I was also really disappointed that there just didn't seem to be anyone in the Sephardic world doing anything similar. It's really important for people to know where this tradition comes from and to make sure that new generations get the message. All of the lyrics could just as easily have been written today. The songs that I sing are, about unrequited love and first love crushes and going off to war, most of which were written almost 500 years ago. Most people laughed. I mean, they thought it was a total oxymoron. Ladino and rock, there's just, it doesn't make any sense. No one had ever done it before. They thought it was crazy.
There are very few people that could sing it the way we sang it. To make it into a rock and roll, there is no need for that.
But I really believed in it, and 6 years later, 2 albums later, I'm here to tell the story.
It's a testimony to the fact that the culture is still alive. As long as people are creating still in the language and in the music and trying to develop it to a modern sphere, I think that's a plus for the language and plus for the culture.
The language, unfortunately, is in danger of dying, mostly because, just like Yiddish, there aren't people who speak it anymore as a first language. My personal belief is that Sephardic culture in general is just not taught enough in the American Jewish educational curriculum. So I realized, wow, I almost felt compelled to do it, that I had no choice but to do it myself. Right now, I am serving as PR manager, booking agent, band leader, everything. I mean, I've made it mean my life. I mean, my career is, it's so personal at this point because it's my identity, it's my tradition. I feel a certain amount of responsibility at this point that people are looking up to me to carry the tradition on and to pass it to a new generation. And for me, the Ladino tradition ties me back to this incredible past, and Sephardic Jews have such an important story to tell, and through music, I'm doing my part, hopefully, to make sure that that story gets told.